"Are you a poet?" he asked. "A poet?" Nicholson said. "Lord, no. Alas, no. Why do you ask?" "I don't know. Poets are always taking the weather so personally. They're always sticking their emotions in things that have no emotions." Nicholson, smiling, reached into his jacket pocket and took out cigarettes and matches. "I rather thought that was his stock in trade," he said. "Aren't emotions what poets are primarily concerned with?" Teddy apparently didn't hear him or wasn't listening. "You love God, don't you?" Nicholson asked. "Yes, sure, I love him, but I don't love him sentimentally. He never said anyone had to love him sentimentally. I was 6 when I saw that everything was God, and my hair stood up and all that," Teddy said. "It was on a Sunday. I remember. My sister was drinking her milk, and all of a sudden, I saw that she was God, and the milk was God. I mean, all she was doing was pouring God into God, if you know what I mean." Nicholson didn't say anything. "I could get out of the finite dimensions fairly often when I was 4, Teddy said. "How does one get out of the finite dimensions?" Nicholson asked. "A block of wood is a block of wood. It has length and width." "It hasn't. That's where you're wrong," Teddy said. "Everybody just thinks things keep stopping off somewhere. They don't. The reason things seem to stop off somewhere is because that's the only way most people know how to look at things," he said. "But that doesn't mean they do." He looked at Nicholson. "Would you hold up your arm a second, please?" he asked. "My arm? Why?" "Just do it. Just do it a second." Nicholson raised his forearm. "What do you call that?" Teddy asked. "What do you mean? It's my arm. It's an arm." "How do you know it is?" Teddy asked. "You know it's called an arm, but how do you know it is one? Do you have any proof that it is an arm?" "I think that smacks of the worst kind of sophistry, frankly," Nicholson said. "It's an arm because it's an arm. In the first place, it has to have a name to distinguish it from other objects." "You're just being logical," Teddy said to him impassively. "I'm just being what?" Nicholson said, with a little excess of politeness. "Logical. You're just giving me a regular, intelligent answer," Teddy said. "I was trying to help you. You asked me how I get out of the finite dimensions when I feel like it. I certainly don't use logic when I do it. Logic's the first thing you have to get rid of." "You know Adam?" Teddy asked him. "Do I know who?" "Adam, in the Bible." Nicholson smiled. "Not personally." "You know that apple Adam ate in the Garden of Eden, referred to in the Bible?" he asked. "You know what was in that apple? Logic. Logic and intellectual stuff. That was all that was in it. So, this is my point. What you have to do is vomit it up, if you want to see things as they really are. I mean, if you vomit it up, then you won't have any more trouble with blocks of wood and stuff. You won't see everything stopping off all the time. And you'll know what your arm really is, if you're interested. The trouble is, most people don't want to see things the way they are. They don't even want to stop getting born and dying all the time. They just want new bodies all the time," he reflected. "What would you do if you could change the educational system?" Nicholson asked ambiguously. "Ever think about that at all?" "Well, I'm not too sure what I'd do," Teddy said. "I know I'm pretty sure I wouldn't start with the things schools usually start with. I think I'd first just assemble all the children together and show them how to meditate. I'd try to show them how to find out who they are, not just what their names are and things like that. I guess, even before that, I'd get them to empty out everything their parents and everybody ever told them. I mean, even if their parents just told them an elephant's big, I make them empty that out. An elephant is only big when it's next to something else. I wouldn't even tell them an elephant has a trunk. I might show them that elephant, if I had one handy, but I'd let them just walk up to the elephant, not knowing anything more about it than the elephant knew about them. The same thing with grass, and other things. I wouldn't even tell them grass is green. Colors are only names. I mean, if you tell them the grass is green, it makes them start expecting the grass to look a certain way, your way, instead of some other way that may be just as good, and maybe much better. I don't know. I just make them vomit up every bit of the apple their parents and everybody made them take a bite out of. If they wanted to learn all that other stuff, names and colors and things, they could do it, if they felt like it, later on when they were older. But I'd want them to begin with all the real ways of looking at things, not just the way all the other apple eaters look at things. Doctors talk about cells as if they had such unlimited importance all by themselves, as if they didn't really belong to the person that has them, Teddy said. I grew my own body. Nobody else did it for me. So if I grew it, I must have known how to grow it. Unconsciously, at least, I may have lost the conscious knowledge of how to grow it, sometime in the last few 100,000 years, but the knowledge is still there, because, obviously, I've used it. It would take quite a lot of meditation and emptying out to get the whole thing back. I mean, the conscious knowledge. But you could do it if you wanted to. If you opened up wide enough.